And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special day, the 7th day of October, and it's a beautiful day out here in Brisbane. Looking out that window is just amazing. You can see as far as your eye could go, and the temperature here is a beautiful 22 degrees. And today is a very special day. Today is the first day of Navratri. And of course, the first day being Sailputri Mata, Navratri's first day. Sailputri is among the 9 forms of Goddess Durga who are worshipped during the 9 days of Navratri festival. Each day of the festival is dedicated to one form of Durga, and the first day is dedicated to Ma Sailputri. So there you are, and wishing you all the very best, and my Ma's blessing be with you all at all times. Well, right now, today we have lots of things to go through, and don't forget that at 10 a.m., Tanvi Goyal will be joining us here in the studio with episode number 51 of the travel updates, the weekly travel updates with Tanvi Goyal of Oz India Travel. So that's coming up at 10, but right now we have the news and the Daily India Report. Well, first of all, let's take a look at message from the new New South Wales Premier, Dominic Perrott.
I work very closely with the former Deputy Premier and the former Premier in putting the roadmap together. I think, and as many people have said today, I saw Craig Laundy out saying that he was very happy as a publican in terms of where that roadmap is actually based. But I do think there's an opportunity for some changes, and I've had those discussions this morning. We've got a crisis cabinet meeting this evening in relation to how those structures will work going forward. Look, I've spent the day today working through those matters, and once those decisions are made, I'll let you know. There'll be further discussions in relation to the roadmap. I've had constructive discussions with the health team and the Minister and Dr. Chant this morning around a whole range of issues in relation to the COVID situation and the New South Wales roadmap, and we will be considering those matters this afternoon at the Crisis Cabinet.
And of course, that sounds like a very good way to start. He seems pretty articulated and well informed and very well spoken as well. So wishing him all the best. Well, who's going to be assisting him? He is his deputy.
I think today, is a message of actually getting on with business as usual. When I got elected this morning, the first call I made was to the Premier, Dom Perrott, talking about getting together, getting out into the regions and making sure that we're going to represent people right across this state. No matter where you live, we want to make sure that that investment remains strong and that we actually provide the services that you both need and deserve. Dom's right. We've had a very strong relationship together. We've been able to work together on things that matter, through Crisis Cabinet, through Expenditure Review Committee. We've even been up in the Upper Hunter by-election working together. And I'll tell you what, he knows the things that matter to me, he knows the things that matter to my communities, and today, by bringing in the new team, swearing them in very quickly and swiftly, we're getting on with the job of representing the people of New South Wales. Coincidentally, it is the Perrott Tool government, so my initials are PT, so I think there was something already in that as well. So I look forward to working with Dom, and I'll tell you what, we're going to get on with the job for the people of this state.
Can I just begin by saying that the last 3 years have been some of the most challenging times that we've seen here in this state's history. We've dealt with droughts, we've had bushfires, we've had floods and we've had a pandemic. And during that whole time, we've been very fortunate to have strong leadership. We've had Gladys Berejiklian and John Barilaro that have actually kept our communities safe, and they've informed us as to what needs to happen in our local communities. Could I say thank you to them both? But I also want to thank John Barilaro for the incredible leadership that he has shown as the leader of the New South Wales Nationals. John, as we know, has been someone who is ferocious, he's a fighter, and he's been a champion of the bush. And what he's actually done is make sure that those things that matter in our regional communities, he stood up for and made sure that we actually got outcomes. I can tell you today, they are big shoes to fill, but I am really looking forward to that challenge and taking on the work that has been laid before me by John Barilaro, making sure that we get that investment into the bush, making sure that we continue to fight for the things that matter for our local communities. Now today I was very fortunate to be given the honour and the privilege by the Nationals party room to be able to serve as the leader of the New South Wales Nationals. This, to me, is a real honour. But I'll tell you what, I'm not focusing on it because I want to make sure that we focus on the people of this state. I want to make sure that we get back to work and it's business as usual. Because the people of this state...
So getting back to job and getting on with the job as business back to usual is going to be challenging, but it seems like the Dom and Toole team, the Dom Perrott and the Toole team, Paul Toole team seems to be a good team. And as long as they can all work together, I think there might be some good outcomes. Well, where does that leave Gladys Berejiklian?
Ronnie, the mic in.
Oh, you're perfect. What you made from all of this? It's very comforting. Thank you. Oh, okay, thank you. So you don't have a little bit later? What thank you, of course. Thank you so much.
Any message on the people of New South Wales?
So even with all those signs and everything out there, well, the fact is that she is no more the Premier. Well, it's good to see that, she held high and, of course, did not make any comment, but just said good morning and thank you to all the media present there. Well, right now, let's go to ICT and get a report from ICT.
Sadly, I do start today by advising that the ACT has recorded another COVID-19 related death. This is a female in her 70s. This individual was receiving end-of-life care at the Calvary Hayden Aged Care Facility prior to contracting COVID-19. On behalf of the government and the ACT community, I extend my deepest sympathies and love to this person's family and friends at this very difficult time. This brings the number of lives lost due to COVID-19 to 6 for this outbreak. Today, we have recorded 28 new cases of COVID-19 in the ACT. The total cases for this outbreak is now 1,066, with the total number of recovered cases now 663, which is 14 more than yesterday. Our team continues to manage 395 active cases, which is, of course, an increase from yesterday. 19 of today's 28 cases can be linked to known cases or ongoing clusters, with 9 still under investigation. We also know that 13 were household contacts, or are household contacts. 11 people were in quarantine during their whole infectious period, and 5 people spent some time in the community for at least part of their infectious period and may present a risk of transmission to others. To 8 p.m. last night, there were 16 people in our hospitals. 11 of these are unvaccinated and 5 have had 1 dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. We have 7 people in the intensive care unit these range in age from their 20s to their 60s. 4 of these individuals are requiring ventilation. So I think those hospital statistics highlight again the absolute importance and value of being fully vaccinated against COVID-19. So I am pleased to say that we have reached a major milestone in our vaccination rollout today, with more than 95% of Canberrans aged 12 and over now having had 1 dose.
90% of Canberrans vaccinated. Well, looking at that, what's happening in New South Wales and what sort of figures and what milestone have they reached in this Delta outbreak? Here's that report.
Now to New South Wales, where 594 new local cases of COVID have been detected. Here's reporter Alison Zhao. Hi, Alison. So what can you tell us about these latest cases?
Roz, Case numbers in New South Wales are definitely declining. Today we saw 594 new cases, and that's the lowest number of daily cases we've seen since August the 17th. But despite this good news, health authorities are continuing to encourage people to go out and get tested and also to go and get vaccinated. Unfortunately, 10 more people have passed away from the virus, and that brings the death toll for the Delta outbreak to 395. And among today's 10 deaths, 3 of those who died were people from the Allity Beechwood Aged Care Facility in Revesby. So those are the first deaths that have been linked to an outbreak at that aged care facility. And there's also warnings for people across regional New South Wales, in particular in Jindabyne, Fig Tree, Cessnock, Merewether, Wallsend and Blue Haven. They've all been told to be on high alert for cases and to continue to go out and get tested. And also case numbers are still quite high in regional areas, particularly the Hunter New England region, which recorded 93 new cases yesterday, and also the Illawarra Shoalhaven area, which saw 51 new cases.
Where are we, Alison, in terms of vaccination numbers? Are we officially at 70% double dose yet? Because we were due to hit that today, weren't we?
Yeah, so the ABC analysis predicts that today the state is likely to administer the dose that gets us to 70% double dose, and then those results will be officially announced by the federal government tomorrow. So at the moment, the official statistics are that 67.7% of the population over 16 has received 2 doses and are fully vaccinated, while 88.6% of the over 16 population has received 1 dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. So the federal government usually updates its statistics around 1 or 2 o'clock. So we're looking to see that increase to about 69 or so percent, and then we are expecting to see that 70% dose. So if you're lining up to get your second jab today, you might end up getting that dose that gets us to 70% double dose.
And wouldn't that be wonderful? Yes, reaching that milestone 70% sometime today. Well, of course, we have seen the case when the inquiry started about Gladys Berejiklian. She stepped down. Well, similar position is for Daniel Andrews, but the way he handled the media and he shunned aside the journalist and his questions, and so a seasoned politician that he is.
If you want to know who IBAC are inquiring into and what they're doing and how they're doing that, then you should speak to them. So I'm rejecting the premise of your question, linking the two things that you've just asked me, or a question and then trying to infer something that you don't know to be a fact. And I am not confirming for you, so you should go and have a chat to IBAC. But no, I will not be doing anything other than my duty and what I am sworn to do, and that is to work as hard as I can to deliver on my commitments to the community, keep the community safe, and make sure that we can deliver our roadmap to opening.
You've got us to the right.
I'm not dealing with hypotheticals, and I'm not dealing with these sort of questions that are essentially by me providing commentary on somebody else, me providing commentary on me. I'm not doing that. I'm not a commentator. If you want to know what IBAC is doing, who they're talking to, what they're talking about, what they're conducting, left, right and centre, you should go and talk to them.
Yes, and go talk to them directly. Don't ask someone for what they might be saying. Yes, and that's a stance that I will stand by for as well. Well, still in Victoria, let's take a look at the numbers and where we are.
So 1,420 locally acquired cases yesterday, taking the total number of active COVID cases in our community to 14,410. And again, a very busy and significant day for all of us in the COVID response. In terms of distribution, just over a quarter, 377 of our cases of today's cases are in our western suburbs. Again, across suburbs such as Tarneit, Truganina and Point Cook. And again, we see around a quarter of all of our active cases in those western suburbs at this point in time. Around 4 in 10 of today's cases are in the northern suburbs, so 562 of our cases today in suburbs, again familiar suburbs such as Craigieburn, Roxburgh Park and Broadmeadows. Around half of all of the cases we have, active cases in Victoria, are currently within those northern suburb LGAs. A quarter of our total cases, both today and overall, are in the southeast and eastern suburbs. 89 of those cases in the eastern suburbs, in places such as Doncaster and Templestowe. And in the southeast, we have 307 cases today across suburbs including Pakenham and Dandenong and Noble Park. We have 80 cases across regional Victoria today, and in total now across regional Victoria, 611 active cases. The most significant...
So with 611 active cases, Victoria has also recorded 11 deaths.
Victoria has seen its deadliest day in this current outbreak, but the number of new infections has dropped from a record high. 11 more people have died from the virus in Victoria, the highest daily death toll of the third wave, and taking the number of fatalities in the outbreak to 68. 1,420 new locally acquired cases have been detected. There have been 10 more deaths in New South Wales. Overall case numbers are continuing their downward trend. 594 new local infections there today. And there's been another death in the ACT. The Territory recorded 28 new local cases today. Let's start in Victoria. 1,420 new infections is the latest tally. Reporter Leanne Wong is in Melbourne. Good afternoon, Leanne. Take us through these latest numbers.
Good afternoon, Rose. Well, as you mentioned, Victoria has recorded another 1,420 new local infections, and that is a significant drop from that spike that we saw. Shocking number is just the sheer number of deaths recorded overnight. So sadly, 11 more Victorians have died due to the virus. That's 6 women aged between their 60s and 90s and 5 men aged between their 50s and 80s. And that takes the total death toll now linked to this current outbreak to 68. Now,
so there's a total number of deaths, 68, and 11 new ones there. Well, before we go to the Daily India report, here's the last 2 reports for today. Number 1, gang rapist Mohammed Skaf has been released from jail. Elegantly dressed for someone leaving the jail. Well, right now, the last news for today in this segment is what is going to happen to that trade deal. And of course, our trade minister, who's in Paris, has got a tough job there.
France has levelled a series of cold, dismissive snubs at the Federal Trade Minister. Dan Tehan is the first government minister to arrive in the country for high-level talks since Australia ditched its $90 billion French submarine contract. And there's still clear hostility at Australia's decision to align with the US and the UK for a fleet of nuclear subs. France's special representative to Australia on economic matters says it'll take more than trade talks to heal the rift.
You don't sign a strategic partnership agreement with one of the leading powers in Europe and a leading player in the Indo-Pacific and then disregard it. Swatch it away like an unwanted crumb on a table. That's what's bad. Trust is broken.
The minister's invitation to meet with his French counterpart and a leading business council were also dismissed.
The most important thing is we continue to do everything we can to send that message that Australia is open to sitting down, working through the current issues, and we remain a very, very good friend of France's.
And a tough job that he has got in front of him, but right now it's time to take a look at our sponsors for the segment.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetraltor.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
And real estate is their world. And don't forget that every Wednesday we have the real estate update right here with Usha Chandra. And today we will have the travel updates with Tanvi Goyal coming up at 10 a.m. But right now it's time to get our daily India report. And with that, let's welcome Ankita.
Welcome to the Daily India Report that brings you glimpses of the changing India and the growing engagement of the Indian diaspora with India. In our first story, the Serum Institute of India expands Covovax pediatric trial to include 2 to 6 years old children. The Serum Institute of India has expanded Covovax pediatric trial among children and adolescents and children across 10 sites in India, including Pune, after ensuring vaccine safety. The Covishield maker aims to scale the pediatric trial further by including kids in the 2 to 6 years age bracket in the trial's next phase. The phase 2 and 3 pediatric trials of Covovax that kicked off in August would have a total of 920 children, 460 in 12 to 17 years, 230 in 7 to 11 years and another 230 in 2 to 6 years age groups. The recombinant nanoparticle protein-based vaccine NVX-CoV 2373, developed by the American biotechnology firm Novavax, has been branded Covovax in India. The Serum Institute of India, partnering with Novavax, is expected to launch Covovax for adults in India by November 2021 and for children early 2022. Serum Institute of India would submit the interim trial findings on safety and immunogenicity after 3 months of the advanced clinical trial for licensure. According to the latest guidelines of the Drugs Controller General of India, the company can apply for a license for the vaccine before the completion of the trials based on the global test results. The child cohort comprises about 130 to 140 million people. Experts say that India would need about 250 to 260 million doses for them. Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that he will not allow his country to be used to threaten India's security. Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has assured India that it won't allow its land to be used to threaten India's security. Rajapaksa gave the assurance in his meeting with visiting Indian Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla. President Rajapaksa also explained Sri Lanka's relationship with China, adding that India need not have any fear about it. The President extended an invitation for Indian investors to explore investment opportunities in Sri Lanka. Regarding the situation surrounding the Trincomalee oil tank farm, Rajapaksa said the concerned minister was vested with the responsibility of resolving the matter that would benefit both sides. During the bilateral discussion, attention was also drawn towards promoting Sri Lanka's tourism sector and further enhancing opportunities for Sri Lankan military personnel to train in India. 5 decades ago, in 1971, then Sri Lankan Prime Minister Sirimavo Bandaranaike had proposed that the Indian Ocean be made a zone of peace. Rajapaksa expects India's support in taking this proposal forward. President Rajapaksa also pointed out that a solution can be provided to the fishermen issue that has battered the fishing communities of both countries. He noted that it can be done by identifying the solutions to those issues and providing benefits to the fisher folk. The Sri Lankan president also noted that his government is taking measures to create an environment where the ethnic minority of Tamil people who left the country can return, and the government has also invited the Tamil diaspora and overseas Tamils to make this program a success. Moody's changes India's rating outlook to stable from negative. Moody's Investors Service has changed its outlook on India's sovereign ratings to stable from negative. But the ratings, both on foreign and domestic currencies, remain at the lowest investment grade. Experts said this would have a beneficial impact on debt allocations by foreign portfolio investors to Indian papers. Now Moody's and Standard & Poor's have both projected a stable outlook on their ratings on India. Fitch outlook on India continues to be negative. However, all three rating agencies have given India the lowest investment grade. In June 2020, Moody's had downgraded India's sovereign rating by a notch to the lowest investment grade and kept the outlook at negative. The negative outlook reflected lots of uncertainty due to coronavirus and lockdowns. Indian Chief Economic Advisor Krishnamurthy Subramanian has said that there was ample scope for further recalibration in Moody's assessments, with several reforms implemented in the financial sector and the prospects for the sector looking better. The development came close on the heels of Indian Finance Ministry officials pitching for a ratings upgrade during a meeting with Moody's on September 30th. The agency has now partly accepted it. Moody's said in the meeting that India has become less susceptible to event risks. Hockey India pulls out of 2022 Birmingham Commonwealth Games. India on October 5th pulled out of 2021 Birmingham Commonwealth Games hockey competition, citing COVID-19 concerns and the UK's discriminatory quarantine rules for travellers from the country. The decision comes a day after England pulled out of the Junior World Cup to be held in Bhubaneswar in India in November 2021, citing similar concerns and taking note of the Indian government's mandatory 10-day quarantine protocol for all UK nationals. Hockey India has reasoned that there was only a short 32-day window available between the Birmingham Games, July 28 to August 8, and the Hangzhou Asian Games, September 10th to 25th. And India could not risk sending its players to the UK, which is one of the worst affected by the coronavirus pandemic. The UK recently refused to recognize India's COVID-19 vaccination certificates and imposed a 10-day hard quarantine on travellers from the country, even if they were fully vaccinated. The discrimination was mentioned in a letter to the IOA president. The Birmingham CWG would have been the first big event for both the teams after their inspirational performances at the Tokyo Games, where the men's team won a bronze while the women finished a creditable fourth. Indian Prime Minister Modi expresses gratitude for his party's landslide victory in local body elections in Gujarat state. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party registered a landslide victory in the Gujarat state's capital Gandhinagar municipal corporation elections by winning 41 out of 44 seats. The Congress, on the other hand, was able to bag only 2 seats, while the Aam Aadmi Party won 1. In the Okha Nagarpalika elections too, BJP recorded a resounding victory, winning 34 out of the 36 seats. Modi expressed his gratitude to voters, saying the results reaffirm the deep-rooted bond between the people of Gujarat and BJP. Meanwhile, the Congress party snatched away the Bhanwad municipality from BJP in Devbhoomi Dwarka, where mid-term elections were held. Congress won 16 out of 24 seats, while BJP only got 8. The Gujarat State Election Commission authorities had said the polling in GMC remained largely peaceful without any untoward incident. The polling witnessed around 56.24% voter turnout. US Deputy Secretary Wendy Sherman held talks with Foreign Secretary Shringla during India visit. Quick on the heels of what is termed as a landmark first meeting of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi with US President Joe Biden, the US sent one of its top diplomats to Delhi to follow up. US Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman is on a 3-day visit to India, during which she met India's Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla and reviewed the India-US bilateral agenda and outcomes of the Modi visit. Indian Ministry of External Affairs spokesman Arindam Bagchi said that the top diplomats on both sides discussed issues of regional interest, especially the evolving situation in Afghanistan, as well as developments at the UN. Reiterated commitment for a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific region, including through continued cooperation under the Quad. He said both sides took stock of bilateral issues ranging from COVID-19, security and defense, economic, climate and clean energy and people-to-people linkages. She also participated in a special session of the India Ideas Summit organized by the US-India Business Council on 6th October. Sherman is in India October 5th through 7th and will also call on Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Her India visit comes days after Prime Minister Narendra Modi's US visit, during which he held the first in-person bilateral talks with both President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Both President Biden and Prime Minister Modi said the India-US relationship is set to get stronger and closer. Bhuvan Bam has released the trailer of his first web series, Dindora. Famous Bollywood Helmer S.S. Rajamouli says he's anxiously awaiting the series premiere. Bhuvan Bam is set to release his own web series with all the characters created by him on his YouTube channel. The popular content creator dropped the trailer of his upcoming web series titled Dindora. Famous Bollywood director S.S. Rajamouli took to Twitter to praise Bhuvan and also wished him all the best. Dindora is BBK Vine's first web series. The story revolves around Bhuvan, whose life turns upside down after Bablu wins a lottery. However, what follows the win is chaos in the lives of Bhuvan's family. Directed by Hemang Gaur, Dindora will premiere on YouTube on October 14th.
नाश्ता कहाँ गया यार? अरे वाह, पोहा, फिर से पोहा। इस घर में अंडा क्यों नहीं बनता? पता नहीं कौन से गरीब खानदान में पैदा हो गया हूँ मैं। क्या बोला ये?
Bhuvan Bam will be seen playing 9 characters in Dindora. He has donned multiple hats for the series, from writing the story and dialogues, creating the characters, composing background music to creating the 3 songs. He has done it all. That's all for this bulletin of Daily India Report. Thank you for watching.
And thank you very much, Ankita, for that, the Daily India Report, and quite interesting. There's quite a lot of news coming in there. Very well done with the local, international, sports, and of course politics and entertainment all in one. Well, right now, let's take a very good look at some of the functions and events that are taking place. But just be mindful that some of the functions and events might also be cancelled due to some of the restrictions, and some of them have been rescheduled. So, heading out to any function, please do reconfirm so that it is all 100%, and then there's no problem at all. And of course, if you're going to any of the functions, make sure that you observe all the safety protocols as been put down by the health department. It is very, very important that we do that, because otherwise we will end up with the situation which we had before. And ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have time for today in this segment, and it's been wonderful having your company as well. Don't forget that at 10 a.m. We'll be back on with Tanvi Goyal right here in these studios, and she'll be talking about the travel, weekly travel updates, bringing to you all the latest updates in travel, and there's some exciting news that she's got to share with everyone. See you back all at 10 a.m. Until then, it's goodbye from me.